Hey guys, welcome back to FVSD Life. My name is Bronwyn, and for today's video I'll be talking to you about how I got my cats and how they really helped me. So yeah, if you enjoy this video, hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. So the day that I got them, I wasn't planning on getting any pets. I literally spent the night at my best friend's house. We'd gone downstairs to get some breakfast at the cafe, and we were just talking about pets because she's got a dog, and she said, would you ever consider getting a pet? And I said, well, I'd probably get cats because they're independent, but I'd rather get a young cat, like a kitten, because then I'll have them for longer and also there'll definitely be a bond. And she's like, oh yeah, I understand that, yeah. And we finished our breakfast, and I said to her, I don't know how I would get one though. And she said, well, what about our other best friend, her mum? Because her mum knows so many animal people, like people with cats, people with dogs. She knows so many animal people. Maybe she'll know of someone with kittens. I was like, oh yeah, maybe I'll send her a message in a few days or something. And so we finished our breakfast. We walked out. We went up past Peace Hospice. We actually walked in there for a little bit, and then we went out, and then we were walking around past and walked round the corner, and there was our other best friend's mum standing there, and we were, oh my god. We were like, oh my gosh, that's so weird. We were just talking about you. She's like, uh-oh, what happened? What'd I do? And we were like, no, nothing bad. It's just, do you know of anyone with kittens? It's just, by chance. And she said, well, actually, I do. A friend of mine's cat has just had a litter of kittens. Give me a second. Let me phone up and see if she has any left over. I was like, okay. And so she made the phone call. And she hung up and she said, you can have one for free today as long as you take it today. I was like, wow, okay, all right then. And so she offered to take us to her friend's house, and so we went there to meet them. But while I was in the car, I phoned my mum to say, by the way, I'm bringing home kittens. And my mum was so shocked. She was like, she was not expecting me to say, oh, I'm bringing home kittens. So she's like, what? I'm sorry, what did you say? Like, yeah, I'm bringing kittens home. Right, okay. When? Today? Oh my gosh, Bronwyn. Thankfully you've done a lot of tidying and stuff, and so yeah, she said yes, obviously. And so we went to meet the kittens, and as a little tip with kittens, like especially newborn kittens from under 12 weeks are not supposed to be outdoors because of socialisation, and with if they've not had any injections or vaccinations or been fixed especially. And so we went there, we were led through the conservatory or whatever you call it, and there were loads of kittens outside. I was shocked. I was like, oh my god, they're so cute. They really were, but they were so small. They were absolutely tiny for 12 weeks. And it was absolutely nuts. It really was. I mean, but these kittens were so scared of humans. They really were. And so the woman gave us some cat treats and said, just give them some cat treats, they'll come to you. We're like, okay. And so I sat down. I just didn't want to obviously start running around going, babies, kittens, start smishing them against my face. And so I just sat down, had a few treats, and so I just like sprinkled some around me. And there was this kitten slowly walking towards me, but she was still really far away. And when I looked up, we locked eyes on each other. And there was another kitten right behind that kitten, like less than a foot away. And so, less than a foot away. So I, it was crazy. She was within arm's reach. When I put my hand out, she would run away. And so these alarm bells with me made me worried, thinking these cats weren't socialised properly. And so the lady said, well, how about later, when it's dinner time, we'll put a bowl of cat food in the cat carrier, and then I can get the cats that way. I was surprised. I was like, can't you pick them up and put them in the carrier? No, Mum won't let me do that. Mummy cat won't let me do that. Okay. And so we went home. Well, we went to Pets at Home to get some bits for kittens. And so I was spending a day at my friend's house. We was talking a little bit, and then we got a phone call from our other friend's mum saying she's got 2 kittens in the carrier for you. I was like, oh wow, okay. And so we went to go get them, and they were so small. They were absolutely tiny. They were huddled behind in this cat carrier, really scared. They were growling, hissing, meowing to get out, and it was just, oh god, it broke my heart. But I said, brilliant, thank you. And she said, can you just quickly go, because Mum's getting distressed. I don't want them to be here. I was like, okay, that's fine. And so we took them to my house, and we put them in my sitting room, opened the door, and they just flew out. They ran and they hid immediately. And it was just, yeah, and they refused to be touched. And when I say they hid for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. They didn't come out to eat, they didn't come out to drink, they didn't come out to go to the toilet. But the thing is, we left the food in the sitting room just so that we put the litter box in the sitting room just so that they knew that they could use these things. Oh, by the way, they were litter trains. They were that toilet trains, so they could use a litter box, which was brilliant as well. But yeah, so whenever we went to bed, my mum was sleeping downstairs, and she could always hear them go, like them eating. And so, you know, so we knew they were eating and they were having drinks, and they were using the litter box too, which was brilliant. Eventually we were able to somehow, they got so scared that they ran into the kitchen, which is where we wanted them. We wanted them to be in the kitchen, because that's how I think of where we spend the most time. It sounds weird because we sit in the sitting room too, but in the kitchen, that way we're able to, it made more sense for me. It sounds weird for other people because it's where electronics are, but the thing is, it made sense because, yeah, so we had them in the kitchen, and they were absolutely tiny. They really were. They barely fit into my hands, and I couldn't touch them. They wouldn't let me try and stroke them or anything. They would growl and hiss if anyone tried to get near them. They hid. They would hide. They would panic. And the thing is, I made an appointment to take them to the vets. Now, my friends were adamant there was a boy and there was a girl. A boy and a girl cat. And I had names set out. I was going to call one Star and one Draco. But before I found out the sex, we were calling them such weird names. One of them, who's now called Star, we called her Houdini because she was brilliant at hiding. And we called Luna Zorro because of the black eyes. She had like the Zorro mask. And so yeah, I was ready when I went to the vets. I was like, I have their names, I know they're a boy and a girl. And oh my god, it was, yeah, we took them to the vets, and thanks to my friend who actually drove me to the vets to take them there. And he picked them up and looked and said, there's not a boy here, they're both girls. I was so happy. I was so happy they were both girls. And I was like, really? And he said, yeah. And I said, oh, brilliant. Because I've already had 2 names picked out for girls. And so I said, I want to name that one Star and that one Luna. I called Luna Luna because she has a really big L on her back. And Star, she just looked like a star. She did. And I said to him, I'm really concerned about their weight and how small they are. And he said, how were they kept, you know? And I said, well, they were kept in the garden. And he just sighed and shook his head. And he said, kittens are not supposed to be kept in the garden. They're supposed to be indoors where they're able to be social with humans, supposed to be able to, you know, and stuff. And they were so scared of me, these kittens. And he said that these cats are feral. And they will possibly be feral for the rest of their lives. Which shocked me, you know. Like, to be told something like that, it's just shocking, you know. It's really like, oh my God. And so, yeah, and yeah, and he said they're definitely 12 weeks, but I suggest you give them kibble as well as wet food. And I'm going to wrap this up now so you guys can watch part 2 for next week. And next week's going to be an even more intense one because it'll be about when, unfortunately, Luna got ill. And yeah, so I'll be seeing you all next week for part 2. Bye!